and welcome to this week's Artist on Art. I have the great pleasure of speaking with Rob Hart. Rob is here in the studio at KZSC. You can hear his music in the background. That's the Rob Hart Trio. Rob, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me here.
Hey, thanks for coming. Rob is promoting a really big show that he's going to be doing at Yoshi's in Oakland. Yoshi's in Oakland Jazz Bar is considered, by some folks, would argue, one of the best jazz clubs in the world.
I'd say so.
And Rob will be playing, Rob Hart and Rob Hart Trio will be playing July 1st at 8 p.m. Again at Yoshi's in Oakland. There's one in San Francisco, but that's not the one we're talking about. And you'll be able to hear this type of music, jazz.
Yes, we're going to feature the CD, and it's actually going to be the official CD release of 3,000 Realms of 10 Worlds.
That's right, 3,000 Realms of 10 Worlds. This is their new CD release event, and you'll be featuring Greg Sankovich, Scott Sorkin, Doug Pohorsky, and Jason Muscat.
Right.
And that's kind of your usual players?
Yeah, we play a lot. We've been playing for years. Some guys I've been playing for probably over 20 years. Jason Muscat, I've known him forever. He was actually a youth pastor, and then we played together with some vocal coaching and some church gigs, and then he became a full-time musician, and now is one of the best bass players in the Bay Area.
And then, Rob, you play the drums.
I do.
And so you are both the drummer and the leader of this band.
I am.
And how long have you had the Rob Hart Trio?
Going on, we started in 1992, so going on 21 years.
Wow. Mazel tov.
Mm.
That's wonderful. And this is the first time you're going to be playing at Yoshi's.
This is my debut, and probably I would say something I will do once. I don't want to play there all the time. Some people like to play there once a year. I think it's my one thing I want to do, and it's going to be a big event.
So tell me, Rob, what is it about Yoshi's Oakland that makes it such a coveted venue for musicians?
Well, I think it is such a icon, and so many famous musicians come through there. I can remember trying to get in. There'd be sold-out shows, and I would wait. I wouldn't give up. I would wait. I would wait outside until there was some kind of way of getting in. One of the staff would get me a ticket, and I'd somehow squeeze my way in. And it was so exciting, and get to hang out with the musicians, and it's so inspiring. So we're talking like all the best musicians from all over the world come through Yoshi's.
Right, and what is attracting them?
Well, it's one of the best jazz clubs in the world, so I think it's everybody wants to play there.
And
so,
what makes it the best jazz club?
I think the sound.
The sound.
I think the layout.
So describe to us the layout a little bit.
Well, it's more of a intimate concert venue. You've got the room was designed, I think, through the city of Oakland to have. They were in Claremont first, and then they moved from Claremont to Jack London Square, and they really designed it for the intimate venue for concerts. So I think that's what makes it, the sound and the layout just makes it so attractive to musicians.
And then also, is there something about the building materials that make the sound, or is it the shape?
They probably did something with the
Right.
design.
So what is it, when you hear that sound, that Yoshi sound, can you describe it a little bit, or?
It's clear in the audience. It's
Yeah.
crystal clear.
It's
just
crystal clear.
it's when you have a good sound, good acoustics. It's just crystal clear, and you really enjoy sitting. I like to actually sit back in the audience. I don't like to sit up front, and I have a certain seat when I go there that I'm a little farther back, so you really get the ambience of the room and just the clarity of all the musicians and the instruments. So to me, it's a great mix.
Right.
It can get, some things could go wrong there. I'm not saying it's always like that, but when it's mixed really well, it's incredible.
And like you said, this attracts world-class, world-renowned musicians from all over the world to come to Yoshi's, and there's an incredible lineup. But you are playing July 1st
Yes.
at 8 p.m. at Yoshi's in Oakland. And that's located at 510 Embarcadero West, Jack London Square. And you can go to yoshis.com/Oakland to get more information about that. You can also go to the Rob Hart Trio.com and get to listen to some of the music we're going to be listening to today off of the 3,000 Realms of 10 Worlds. And you can also get some background information on your long time, a couple decades now of playing as the Rob Hart Trio.
Right.
You also have a special guest that's going to be playing on July 1st, Kai Eckhart.
Mm-hmm.
And tell us a little bit about him, and he's doing a dedication.
Okay. Well, we all went to Berklee College of Music together in the 80s. I think we attended Berklee in 1980, and I graduated in 84. Some people didn't graduate. But we were all at school together, and mainly it was Kai and John Seppela and myself. And of course, there's a lot of musicians that we all went to school together that are scattered over actually the Bay Area and the world. But what happened is that when John Seppela had come back from Berklee and Boston, I'd actually come back in it was 85, and I graduated and came back, and we had done a big performance there. And then when John came back in 90, it was probably 91, 92, we started the trio. And when Kai he's German, and he was having some trouble with immigration, so he was actually coming back into the country. Now Kai is international musicians. He played with John McLaughlin, Wayne Shorter, Billy Cobham, and so he was this real heavyweight. Right out of school, he got some really nice gigs. But when he was moving back to the Bay Area, what happened is that we were just starting to get into playing with the trio. So at that time, we probably started that around 93, 94. So after that, Kai was probably played with us for about a year and a half, and we played a lot of some originals of John's and some fusion tunes, some cover fusion tunes. And it was really an amazing thing because Kai was he's such a creative, amazing player. So it really lifted the whole integrity of the trio and the whole musical, I'd say, creativeness to a new level. And
you have had a loss, John Seppela.
John, in January 2013, John was driving home from a gig, and he had a stroke. And while he was driving, he was on the freeway, he crashed his car into a PG&E truck. And as he crashed, he had a heart attack as well. And then he was in a coma. And they said it was a medically induced coma. So he was in a coma for a month. And then they were trying to get him out. He stayed in a coma for about 2 months. And then March 15th, he was having complications with low blood pressure, and he passed away. So we had some dedications to him, and this is I'm doing a dedication to him for this show on a tune that we actually I wrote, and then he helped me with, called 10 Directions. That's on our first CD. And John was, I've known him since I was 16. He was a musical mentor to me, and pretty much taught me a lot about life and music. So when this happened, it was pretty devastating. And so I said I had to do something. I spoke at the service. I did the eulogy. We had a big musical concert, musical benefit for him. But I wanted to do something personally. So what we did is I got Kai in. He's actually in the country. And we're doing this dedication to him at the Yoshi show on this song called 10 Directions.
It's wonderful. My condolences for your loss.
Thank you.
So we have two 2 sets of tickets. We actually have 3, but we're going to give away 2 sets of tickets during the next break. We're going to have a break right now, folks. We're going to listen to a song called I Will off of the 3,000 Realms of 10 Worlds, the Rob Hart Trio. And this song is Beatlesque.
It's a Beatles cover tune.
Right.
With an arrangement that I did. It's kind of a Latin jazz in some odd times. So it's kind of a wacky arrangement, and I've been doing a lot of arranging where I'll take popular songs, classic songs, and then I'll arrange them in a jazz fashion with something that's has a little twist to it. So this is one of those arrangements.
Rob Hart Trio, right there. Rob, tell us about the making of 3,000 Realms of 10 Worlds.
Okay, well, this is really a compilation of my writing, and it's I made it an international CD with a lot of different inspirations from different countries. So the concept is actually world, almost like a global concept. So I have some rhythms from Bulgaria in there. We wrote a song around that. I have some rhythms from India. I wrote a song around that.
Is that the one called Saffron?
It is. And actually, that was a restaurant that I had a gig at. And according to my wife, it has the best sauces, because it's very picky about sauces, but they have the best actually sauces that they use, which is called masala. And so I had a steady gig there, and actually a lot of musicians, even though we didn't play together, were playing through there. And so I named that song after that restaurant. And the song is actually very hard to play, so it's very challenging. We're playing this live. We also did a reggae tune called Examiner. That's actually something based around me getting audited by the IRS. So that's the inspiration for that song. But it's a reggae song in Jamaican. I'm
glad that you were able to use that experience for an inspirational and betterment of the world, Rob.
Yeah, well, it was one of those things where it changes you. You put you through something, you're very, very scared, and then something comes out of that. And so I wrote that song around that experience.
Excellent. And then you have a samba.
Samba de Lucia was a little experimental. A lot of times what I do is when I write, I sequence things on a computer. And that was something I played around with. And I wrote the A section, and it turned into something that actually musicians really love to play. It's not too hard. It's a simple tune. And some of my tunes can be complex, so they really like playing that. It gives them a lot of freedom to improvise. So it's an Italian samba. Brazilian.
Italian.
It's Brazilian, but the name is kind of Italian. So we got, again, I'm breaking the rules. That's what I do.
Isn't that what Berkeleyites are supposed to do?
Berkeley in Boston, or Berkeley in California?
You're from Berkeley, Boston.
Berkeley, Boston. It's Lee Berkeley, and he was the founder, and we went to Boston and Back Bay, Boston.
I see.
The grumpy old Boston. So we're over there, and that's where the school is.
I see. Berkeley Tech is also in Berkeley.
But
it's a different Berkeley.
Different, and that people get confused with that.
And I've seen some great shows there.
Yes, and there's a lot I got to say about Berkeley, California. There's a lot of creativity. We were there yesterday, putting up posters, and there's a certain vibe. Even the musicians I play with from Berkeley have their creativeness and their energy is it's different. I think it's that area has just its own energy and creativeness that nowhere else has in the East Bay.
It's very multi-ethnic.
It is.
Very.
It is.
And just like this music, this album is called 3,000 Realms of 10 Worlds. It's the Rob Hart Trio. Rob Hart Trio will be debuting. Actually, this is a CD release party event happening Monday, July 1st. Sorry about that. Monday, July 1st. And it will be at Yoshi's Oakland, one of the best jazz playing venues in the world. Yoshi's Oakland, and that's at the Embarcadero West in Jack London Square. So we only have a few more minutes. Up next after Rob will be Terry Harden, another drummer here at a local band called The Spell. But before that, we're going to play Kashmir.
Yeah, and Kashmir is a Led Zeppelin arrangement that I did. When I came up with this one, I felt really proud of it. This is one of the things when I got it done, I said, "Oh, this is really going to be great." Now, what happens with those cover tunes is people recognize it, and that was my whole thing. I did a lot of originals, but when I start doing these arrangements, I have the concept of bringing people in; they recognize it. So this is an ECM, which is a jazz style that's very fluid and very light and airy, and then it goes into like an odd time section, which is very driving, and then it's got like a rock section, and then it's got a straight ahead kind of another jazz ECM feel to it, and then at the end it ends with this big rock, I'd say like a big rock opera ending. So it goes to different pathways and venues and adventures.
All right. So we're going to take out the show, this half of Artist on Art, with Rob Hart Trio, the song called Kashmir off of his album CD 3000 Realms of 10 Worlds. We're also giving away one more pair of tickets to Yoshi's Oakland. If you can tell us what band inspired this next song, you will get to have that pair of tickets. And please give us a call here at 831-459-4036. Everybody sit back and relax. Enjoy the music.